Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Judicial Service. Today we are discuss here another top 15 MCQ of Transfer Property Act 1882. This video is the 15th video of Transfer Property video series, and if you are not watched our previous video, all the link of previous videos are available in our description box. Those who want the PDF file of this video series, the PDF file will be available in our Telegram group, and the link of Telegram group is also available in our description box. You may join through that link. And starting here, question number 216. The provision of section 106 Transfer Property Act 1882 as amended in the year 2002 shall apply. So section 106 Transfer Property Act as amended in year 2002 shall apply. Option A here, all notice in pursuance of which any suit or proceeding is pending. This is very important here. At the time of commencement of the Amendment Act 2002, yes, this statement is absolutely relevant to section 106 amendment in 2002. Now option number 2, all notice which have issues before, this is very important, issue before the commencement of Amendment Act 2002, but where no suit or proceeding has been filed before such commencement. Option C here, both A and B are correct, and option D here, none of the above. So our answer is here option C, both A and B are correct, because these two statements are absolutely relevant to section 106 Amendment Act 2002. Now question number 217. According to amendment to the Transfer of Property Act 2002, the period within the principle of section 106 of the act shall commence from. So option A here, date from receipt of notice. Option B here, date of issue of notice. Option C here, date of summoning of notice, and option D here, 15 days from the expiry of notice. So our answer is here option A, date of receipt of notice. Now question number 218. A lease of immovable property from year to year or for any term exceeding 1 year. This is very important here. The lease of immovable property from year to year or any term exceeding 1 year, or reserving our yearly rent can be made only by option A, an ordinary instrument, option B, by unregistered instrument, option C, by registered instrument, and option D, by written instrument. So our answer is here option C, by registered instrument only, and this thing is provided in section 107. 107 dealing here the lease how made. A lease of immovable property from year to year can only be made by registered instrument. So this thing is provided in section 107. So answer here option C. Now question number 219. Within the meaning of section 108 of Transfer Property Act, both the lessor and lessee possess the right along with the liability. The statement is, so first of all, section 108 dealing with the lessor and lessee's possession the right along with the liability. So this statement is true statement. So our answer is here option A. Question number 220. The lease of immovable property can be determined, cannot be determined. Option C here, can be determined as per section 110 of Transfer Property Act 1882. Option D here, can be determined as per a section 109 of Transfer Property Act. So the lease of immovable property can be determined. So our answer is here option A, and it can be determined by section 106/107. These sections are determined the lease of immovable property, and section 109 dealing with the right of lessor's transferee, and section 110 dealing here the exclusion of day on which the terms commence. So this thing is provided in section 110. So the lease of immovable property can be determined. So answer here option A. Now question number 221. Section 112 of the Transfer Property Act 1882 provide for waiver of the forfeiture, but where a rent is accepted after the institution of suit. So this is very important here. The rent is accepted here after the institution of suit to eject the lessee on the ground of forfeiture, such acceptance, option A is forfeiture, option B is not forfeiture, option C is a determination of lease, and option D is a transfer of lease. So answer is here option B is not forfeiture, because the rent is accepted here. And so after institution of the suit, the eject of lessee on the ground of forfeiture, such acceptance is not forfeiture. And this thing is provided in section 112, section 112 dealing with the waiver of forfeiture. And so this thing here, and the correct provision of the related to the provision of the forfeiture. So forfeiture is related to section 111G, and so 111G provided the right to forfeiture of the transferor or the lessor. So this thing is here, question number 222. A notice under section 111 Transfer of Property Act 1882 can be waived by the express or implied consent of the person to whom it is given. Option B here, by implied consent of a person to whom it is given, and option C here, by express consent of the person to whom it is given, and option D here, by notice from either party. So in this question it dealing with the section 111. So 111, the Transfer of Property Act 1882 can be waived by express or implied both consent of the person to whom it is given. So our answer is here option A. Now question number 223. Section 114 of Transfer of Property Act affords the protection to tenant against the forfeiture while the tenant enjoy the immunity from eviction for default in the payment of rent. This is very important, default in the payment of rent. The landlord gets the corresponding benefit of recovery even of such areas as are not legally recoverable. Such is equitable provision as it engrafted shall govern only to such an extent which does not run counter to any specific statutory provision. This was held in Syam Bhagwan Dubey versus Sheikh Nizam 1994. This is very important case here, and this section dealing with here section 114. Section 114 provided the relief against the forfeiture of non-payment of rent. So section 14, once again section 114 dealing with the relief against the forfeiture for non-payment of rent. This thing is provided in section 114. So this case is related to this. So very important, Syam Bhagwan Dubey versus Sheikh Nizam AIR 1994. Now question number 224. Within the meaning of section 114A of Transfer of Property Act, where the lease of immovable property has determined by forfeiture for a breach of an express condition which provided that on breach thereof the lessor may re-enter to suit for no suit for ejectment shall lie. So option A here, unless and until the lessor has reserved on the lessee's notice in writing. Option B here, without any notice in writing. Option C here, only on oral assent, and option D here, only on lessor's consent. So our answer is here option A, unless and until the lessor has served on the lessee's notice in writing. So answer here option A. Again I read here the provision of section 114A. 114A deal with the where a lessor of immovable property has determined by forfeiture for breach of an express condition, and which is provided that on breach thereof lessor may re-enter no suit for ejectment shall lie unless. So no suit for ejectment shall lie unless and until the lessor has served on lessee a notice in writing. This is very important, notice in writing is necessary for the ejectment. So option A is correct here. Now Question number 225. The surrender under section 115 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 is a voluntary act. The principle apply that the lease cannot be derogated from his own grant, and by a surrender of to the lessor destroy the rights that has created in sub lessee. The surrender therefore operates as agent subject to right of lessor, right of lessee, option C here, right of sub lessee, and option D no condition. So it is here right of sub lessee. So answer is here option C, and this thing is provided in section 115. Section 115 dealing with the effect of surrender and forfeiture under lessee. So this is under lessee. So this is sub lessee or under lessee, same person here. So option C here. Now question number 226. Expression holding over under the Transfer of Property Act 1882 is used in the sense the retaining the possession. So doctrine of holding over. So doctrine of holding over is dealing with the section 116. So 116 dealing with doctrine of holding over. So retain the possession. A distinction is made between a tenant continuing in possession after determination of the lease without the consent of landlord and the tenant doing so with landlord's consent. So option A here. The former is called the tenant by a sufferance, and the latter class of tenants is called the tenant holding over a tenant at will. And option B here, the former is called the tenant holding over a tenant at will, and latter is tenant by sufferance. Option C, former is called the subtenant, latter is called the forfeiture tenant, and option D, none of the above. So according to doctrine of holding out and tenant sufferance, so this thing is provided in section 116. The section 116 dealing with the doctrine of holding over. So in this doctrine, let's take an example to understand this thing. If there is a one transferor, means lessor, and transfer his property to the lessee for 3 years, and the lessee is another transfer his same building or land to another person's, means under lessee. So after 3 years over, the contract between these lessor and lessee has been finished, and thereafter the under lessee again pay the rent to the transferor, means lessor. So and the lessor is accept such rent. So this is called the doctrine of holding over. So doctrine of holding over is known as this thing. So in the first condition, this is known as the tenant by sufferance, and after the period of this thing, this is known as the tenant holding over holding over a tenant at will. So this thing is here. अगर हम लोग हिंदी में समझें तो यहाँ पर देखिए, जहाँ पर एक व्यक्ति जो कोई अपनी संपत्ति का जो है पट्टा करता है किसी अन्य व्यक्ति यानी बी के लिए, और बी क्या करता है, वो पट्टा मान लीजिए 2 या 3 साल के लिए किया, 2 साल के लिए किया, और 2 साल जैसे ही समाप्त होते हैं उसके बाद भी वो उस पर कब्जा बनाए रखता है, और उसके बदले में वो जो ट्रांसफर है उसको जो है उसकी संपत्ति मतलब उसका किराया जो है उसको दे देता है, और ट्रांसफर उस किराए को स्वीकार कर लेता है, वो उसे निकालने के लिए वहाँ पर कोई वाद या उससे नहीं कहता है। तो इस कंडीशन को ही कहा जाता है डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ होल्डिंग ओवर। यही चीज़ बताई गई है। इसमें 3 पर्सन को भी जोड़ा जा सकता है। जैसे मान लीजिए एक व्यक्ति है, उसने दूसरे व्यक्ति को पट्टा किया और उस दूसरे व्यक्ति ने किसी अन्य व्यक्ति को पट्टा कर दिया उसी चीज़ का, यानी अंडर लेसी कर दिया। जब अंडर लेसी करता है तो जब भी वो टर्म खत्म होती है तो उसके बाद अंडर लेसी अगर ट्रांसफरर को यानी जो लेसर है उसको वो पेमेंट कर देता है, उसका किराया दे देता है या जो भी रेंट वो दे देता है, तो और जो ट्रांसफरर है उसको इवेक्ट नहीं करता है, तो उस कंडीशन पे ये इसमें लागू हो जाता है। अब देखिए यहाँ देखने की बात ये है कि अगर एग्रीकल्चर मतलब अगर लैंड है और बिल्डिंग है तब तो जो रिन्यू होगा वो ईयरली हो जाएगा, परंतु यानी अदर पर्पस पे है तो वो मंथली यानी जो उसका रेंट होगा वो मंथ बाई मंथ होगा, परंतु अगर बिल्डिंग है और उस टाइप इंडस्ट्रियल पर्पस से यूज हो रही है तब वो ईयर बाई ईयरली रिन्यू होता है। तो ये चीज़ थी इसमें। तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं। कम टू नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हियर। क्वेश्चन नंबर, सो आंसर इज हियर ऑप्शन ए, द फॉर्मर इज कॉल्ड द टेनेंट बाय सफरेंस एंड द लेटर क्लास टेनेंट बाय लेटर क्लास ऑफ टेनेंट्स इज कॉल्ड द टेनेंट होल्डिंग ओवर a tenant at will. Now question number 227. The lease for agriculture purposes are exempted, this is very important, exempted from chapter 5 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 because option A here, the right of parties are regulated by uses which have to a great extent has been embodied in local act. This is very important here, means land revenue code or other local acts are very effective on the agricultural lands. That's why it is exempted in from chapter 5. So our answer is here option A here. The right of parties is not vested. This thing is not very appropriate according to the question here. Now question number 228. Within the meaning of section 118 of a Transfer of Property Act, when two or more person mutually transfer, first of all this thing, sorry here again I back to the previous question. So this thing is provided in which section? This thing is provided in section 117. Must remember this section. Sometime ask this section also. So it is related to 117. Now come to question number 228. Within the meaning of section 118 of Transfer of Property Act, when two or more person mutually transfer the ownership of one thing from the ownership of another, neither things or both things being money only, the transaction is called. So transaction is called an exchange. So our answer is here option B. First of all, we discuss here what is the basic provision of exchange here. So the exchange is provided in section 118. So 118 dealing with exchange. And what is the basic ingredient of the exchange? So first ingredient is there, an exchange is a mutual transfer. So it is a mutual transfer. It is a mutual transfer of ownership. So it is very important here, of ownership. So it is a mutual transfer of ownership of which thing is ownership of things including money also. Now this is first point, and second point, both things may either by money or things. So second important point here, both, this is very important word, both, please remember, both things may either by money or things. So this is very important, both things, either money or things. If one thing is money and one thing is a product or things, so in such type this is not exchange because it become a sale. That's why both things, either money or things. So either money or things, this is very important point. Now point number 3. Point number 3, one thing out of two things may also not money. This is very important here. One thing out of two things may also not money, not by money. So this is the third important point here. Last important point here, exchange is completed, the transfer of property must be made such as manner. So same manner, look at here, the same manner of sale. So this is very important here. Here the exchange is only completed by the transfer of property must be made such as the same manner of transfer of sale of property. This thing is here, means a same provision of sale and exchange, the same value of the sale and exchange. So these points are related to the exchange here. Question number 229. If any party to an exchange or any person claiming through or under such party is by a reason of any defect in title, this is very important, any defect in the title to other parties deprived of things or any part of the things received by him in exchange, then option A here, such other party is liable to him or any person claiming through or under him for loss caused thereby. Option B here, such other party is not liable. Option C, only B is correct, and option D, none of the above. So answer is here option A, such other party is liable here. Of any defect is there, so such other party is liable to him or any person claiming through or under him for loss caused by thereby. Now question number 230. Within the meaning of section 120 of the Transfer Property Act 1882, the parties to an exchange each have the right and liability of seller of the things given and buyers of the things taken, whereas provision of option A here, provision of section 55 apply to an exchange of land. Option B here, the provision of section 55 apply to better of movable goods. Provision of section 155 section 55 apply to sale of land. And option D, provision of section 55 apply to exchange also. So answer is here option A, the provision of section 55 apply to an exchange of land. So section 55 dealing with the right and liabilities of buyer and seller, and this section 55 also apply to section 120, which is dealing with the right and liability of exchanger here. So answer is here option A. So thank you for watching this video, and if you are like this video, please click on like button, and if you are not subscribed our channel yet, please subscribe our channel and please press the bell icon button, which will provide you further notification of our videos. Thank you for watching Indian Judicial Service.